Good morning. This is Jennifer from the Rolling Stones food blog. I'm here today. We're going to make Devonshire scones. Now these are traditional British scones. I mean, there's cream scones, there's other traditional scones, but these are not like the American scones, which is what I've been making. Normally they're served with clotted cream. Now you're going to have trouble finding clotted cream in the United States because it's made with unpasteurized milk, and so that's an issue for America because we like to make sure everything's killed in it beforehand. But for the Americans watching this, do you hear many Europeans getting sick from unpasteurized milk? You don't really hear that. So I'm not saying what a terrible country America is, like over, killing bacteria, etc. But it is a thing. So if you can't find clotted cream, and I'm going to go in my refrigerator and show it to you. You can find it in a like specialty food stores, places that and I think it's all showing to you in reverse, so I apologize for that. It's Devonshire cream from the Devonshire cream, English luxury clotted cream. You don't have clotted cream, you can't find clotted cream. Butter, use butter. Traditionally, they are cut in half, served with clotted cream, strawberry or raspberry jam. But you are welcome to your creative freedom. We are going to have both. Because, that's just, I've got this stuff because I love scones. So the first thing we're going to do for traditional Devonshire scones is we are going to have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Some people like to use self-raising flour there. That's fine. I just rarely use self-raising flour, so it just takes up more space in my cabinet than I can offer. So I just sifted it because it gives it a little air. We are also going to add a teaspoon of salt. I'm just verifying I'm doing this right. And 2 tablespoons of baking powder. We're going to whirl that around a little bit to get it mixed up. If you wanted to use self-raising flour, you're welcome to. Then in that case, you would use 3 1/3 cups of flour, and then you would just add like 2 teaspoons of baking powder to that. The salt is already included in self-raising flour. So we're going to whirl that around. That looks good because, how complicated is that? We need 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, room temperature. I cubed mine right out of the refrigerator. That made it easier. And just drop it in individually to make it so it doesn't clump up. We are going to whirl that around too until the mixture looks like breadcrumbs. You can also, while it's whirling, add half a cup? Yes, half a cup of sugar. Okay. Now, so these, if you've been to tea houses in America or been to Europe, these are the scones that you will find there. The other ones are like the ones I've been trying to do, but they're just harder. So I'm not really a fan of those. That's why I make mine. When the mixture looks like breadcrumbs, then if the butter's at truly at room temperature, it doesn't take much at all. So I'll just show you. It just looks like flour, so, but a little more consistency. Okay, so then you're going to take 2 eggs. You're going to beat those up till they're really well. You might see on like cooking shows how they go like this, and they're like, oh no, and you're like, why are they doing it? They're doing that to make sure that the egg yolk and egg white are incorporated. If they go like this, see how it's doing like bloop, bloop, bloop? That means the white isn't mixed up well enough into the yolk. So you want to keep doing that until it's like an even stream. Then you know that you've done it well. There's a little bit more. The pressure, because I'm on camera. Okay, that looks good. You're going to want to add 1 cup of milk to that Mix it gently. Like in my case, my bowl barely holds it together. You want to make sure it's completely mixed together. Then we're going to take 2 tablespoons out. You could take a little more if you like. I'm doing 3 just in case. This looks like we can always add more in. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to gently pour the egg milk mixture in. And we're going to get a soft, sticky dough. Now, and there it goes. It's already there. See? It's already there. So, that's what you want. Now remember, British scones tend to be more like biscuits, so that's what we're going for here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pause and get my flour out, so you don't have to waste your time with that. And then what we're going to do is roll them out and make our scones. Thank you. Okay, we took the dough out and we put on a floured surface, and I got a rolling pin. We're going to roll it to about 1 inch thick. And I actually have a cookie cutter here that actually shows at the bottom of how thick I want to do this. So we roll it out to that thickness, and I am going to use a 2-inch biscuit cutter. It's a cookie cutter, but it's fluted. It makes it look pretty. You could use a glass. Now, what I would, obviously the size of the scone is going to be an issue. So if you're using a glass because you don't have cookie cutters, just kind of measure the size of it so you can see how big it is so we know how much to cook it. These are 2 inches, so it's going to go 10-15 minutes. If you have something like 3.5 inches for a larger scone, it's going to be 15 to 20. So we're going to just make our little, just like you would with a regular rolled out cookie dough recipe, we're going to make our scones like this. This recipe will make approximately 20 of the 2-inch scones, about 8 of a 3.5-inch scone. And see, it's like that. We're going to put it on a baking sheet. I've got parchment paper on there. And the oven is preheated to 425, so it's a hot oven. We are going to glaze, remember that milk and egg mixture? We're going to brush it on the top of each one so they get to a golden brown. And these things will rise in the oven. They're best served immediately. If you can't, that's fine. You can also freeze them and then defrost them at room temperature. And because they're small, it won't take long. And then just heat them back up about 350 for about 5 minutes. The less you handle this dough, don't get scared. I did it the first time I did this. The less you handle the dough, the better. Because what happens, the more you play with flour, I'm going to use this here as my guide, the tougher it gets. And we don't want them tough. We want them soft and fluffy. That's the whole point of like a biscuit or this specific type of scone. Again, for Americans who may never have heard of a scone, this is, you don't just eat this on the go in the car like we like to do with our big gulp. This you're going to actually sit down, have a cup of tea. Americans like coffee, have coffee. And then it's a whole, it's not a procedure, but it's the whole experience that you want when you're going to eat scones. Americans have gone into like this way overproductive line, and we don't really sit and enjoy stuff anymore. Everything's eating on the go. We got to do fast because we got to get the kids to soccer or whatever. This is something where you could just sit and enjoy. Get your girlfriends or whatever and just say, hey, we need a couple of hours to just enjoy. And so I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to stick them in the oven after I put the glaze on it. And we're going to bake them for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll show you what they look like. So I'll be back in just a moment. Thank you. Well, we're back. they're baked. They're done. They're like puffy. They're high. They're golden brown. And then what I did is I set up a plate, and that will be my photo of a split scone and a regular scone. And then you can enjoy. I hope you enjoy my little videos. Yum. If you have any questions, any requests, please let me know here. The rest will be posted at my blog. And thanks for joining, and I will see you next time.